Peace, 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 family. Grand rising. How y'all feeling this rising? Rising up with the sun. Getting our day started. Fruits for meat. Herbs for healing. Everybody tune in. Got a little papaya this morning. Papaya and watermelon. This is what we have in our little electric morning. And our bitter teas. What we got? We got our 2 bitter teas. Oh, you done drunk yours on down real quick. What's the name of the bitters, Carrie?
We got the bitter truth and the Omeka. The bitter truth is a blood purifier, it's a blood tonic. The Omeka is more of a blood builder. It's a nutritive, it's full of copper, iron, all those good things.
All right, so we just had 2 retreaters come, and so we got bitter truth and Omeka, very high in iron, very high in copper. So this is how we get in the morning started. I just finished my yoga, meditation, and workout. So give y'all a little quick broadcast, give y'all some energy, give y'all some of the content I've gathered in this last little week. Rainy season, so hibernation, meditation. This is the phase we in, and so just getting the morning started, getting the vibe right. We had a couple of guests arrive this week, and so it's been all love. Got the man Carrie in here hooking up the bitters and the fruit this morning real quick. We just got some quick watermelon electric foods. It's very important to make sure you nourish your cells and hydrate your cells completely in the morning so that you can broadcast correctly and you can create your reality in a more efficient manner when you're more hydrated, when you're more nourished, when you're more vital. The body is water, so you got to hydrate yourself so you can go out and produce. You can go out and you can produce life to the world. You can produce nourishment to the world. You can cause an effective change and help us unite like we should be as a people. So how y'all feeling this morning? Who we got in the room? Peace, Candace. Peace, Latanya. Peace, Michelle Dink. Peace, Rashida. What's going on, Rasta?
Hey, the beach.
Going to the beach?
The sand, the water.
Tell us about the beach, Rasta. How does the beach make you feel, Rasta? The beach in Honduras, how does it make you feel?
It's
electrifying
to the cells. It electrifies, and the sand brings in the energy. It electrifies. Oh my goodness, look at this beautiful Brahma.
Oh yeah, the cow's back. The cow's back. Oh yeah, that's loud. We got the animals back.
In my area.
All right, tell them.
Yeah, I love it.
How important is it for the women to engage into meditation and to take their time to go to the beach and to cleanse their mind, cleanse the mental body, cleanse the emotional body, cleanse the physical body?
There's nothing more important. There's nothing more important than recharging the body with the herbs, with the sun, with the sand. The sand is a conductor of electricity. The water is what electrifies the cells. So you have those 2 combinations going on there. And then when you're ingesting the nutrients and the energy from the foods you eat, you're talking about a whole new being being born.
Yes. Exactly. And how often are we reborn, Rasta?
We're reborn every moment.
There you go. Every moment you're being reborn.
By your thoughts, by what you put in your mouth, by...
Can you hear the ancestors communicate? The ancestors are communicating through Rasta. Mm-hmm. The ancestors exist through us right now. Can y'all hear the ancestors talking through Rasta?
El Rasta.
El Rasta. She's here with the village. This is our elder here at the village. Like she says, you're being reborn right now. You're being reborn right now. You're being reborn right now. You've been reborn every second. Any second you decide to change the emotional body. Any second you decide to change the physical body. Any second you decide to change the spiritual body, you're being reborn right now. You're shifting now. You're shifting now. You're shifting now. You're transforming now. You're transforming now. You're transforming now. Eternally. Every time you inhale and exhale, you transform. Every conversation, you transform. Every time you eat, you transform. Every time you go to work, you transform. Every time you come home with your kids, you transform. You're shifting now. You're shifting now. You're shifting now.
Talk to someone, you transform.
Self-preservation is the first law of nature. To preserve self, to preserve the breath. If you cannot preserve self, then you cannot preserve anyone. You cannot preserve life. Because self is life itself. Self is existence. To be able to preserve self is what allows you to communicate your emotions, your emotional body, which allows you to communicate your physical body, which allows you to communicate the spiritual body, which allows you to communicate the mental body. And so we're going to go over it all, family. So like I said, just touching y'all into the family real quick. Yo, Shin, come vibe with me real quick. Shin, come through real quick. Just want you to speak on the live real quick. Just getting everybody to speak. Then I'm going to go in. We're going to talk about self-preservation and you, the snake. I'm going to show you how the snake represents ascension. What's going on, Zen? How you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
How the bitters got you feeling this morning? How the raw food got you feeling this week?
It's like energy.
Energy.
Absolutely. Patient.
Shin, how you feeling? How that dry fast got you feeling this week?
Clear. Firstly, when we're clear, the energy that needs to move through us can move through us and exhibit as it must. It's beautiful.
And how important is it for us to clean our bodies so that we can unite mentally, we can unite emotionally, we can unite physically, and we can unite spiritually, so that these forces we face in every form, European technology, whatever form that they come in, so we can combat these forces and we can communicate as much peace, as much harmony, as much love as we can. How important is that?
We got to understand that the physical body is a fractal or a manifestation of the physical universe. So if we're doing things and putting things into the physical body that abstract the universe, we're going to naturally have to experience that outside.
Facts.
And that's the war. That's all of the calamity, the war. That's the war in the mind and the war in the soul. And there's truly no separation. It's one unit. One
Beautiful.
body. That's why the body had to form in the womb, in the water, you know, and coagulate the soul into a little embryo. And
Facts.
get born and grow. We're still in the womb. This earth is still the womb.
Facts.
Talks about flying and skipping with the mushrooms.
Exactly.
This is what we need to do. We birth into the next level, and this is
Facts.
the benefit, not the benefit, but the necessity.
And the necessity is a benefit. It is a benefit. It's a benefit to be one of life, to be eternal. That is a benefit. You can't die. Benefit. It was a beautiful broadcast.
But that's the necessity, though, to cleanse the body, because as we do cleanse that, we naturally cleanse the mind. The energy that we emit cleanses, and then the capacity for us to truly live as the soul being that we are, the solar beings, comes to the forefront, as opposed to us putting little pleasures and taste senses and issues and difficulties we may face in the physical world. So big shout to Amun I don't know anybody who's more devoted to this journey than him.
That's love. Man, Shinji, I'm devoted. Y'all heard it from a man. I'm fully submitted. Ask the family. Fully submitted. I don't stop. This is all I care about, family. This is all I care about. Transformation without beginning and without end. I know the purpose of life. I know what you're here for. We're here for growth. We're here for nourishment. If any cell, if any plant, if any universe, if any star fail at health, it fails at life. Health equals the ability for you to be able to communicate your emotions, your physical body, your mental body, your emotional body at the highest level. If the emotional body is sick, if the physical body is sick, if the spiritual body is sick, if the mental body is sick, how can you effectively love anyone? How can you effectively love yourself? How can you effectively know your purpose? You're sick. We're lost. As a people, we're lost, and this is what we must come from. We must understand how to preserve self. And in order to do that, we must be reborn. So let me rebirth you. Understand that you're being reborn every second. Every second, your body's making new cells. You're taking in oxygen. You're taking in information from your environment. You're taking in whatever you see. You're taking in whatever you hear. You're taking in whatever you put in your mouth. And your body is using these building materials to construct all of your body. So we're going to talk about all these bodies. Everybody that's here, y'all finna get it live. Don't go nowhere. Y'all finna get something. I don't give it to everybody else. We're finna break it down. So everybody that tune in, they're going to be able to tune in to see it later. But I'm finna go ahead and give it to y'all. So here we go. Self-preservation. So in order to preserve self, we must know self. In order to know self, we must know the natural life around. So when we talk about self-preservation, where does that come from? If we look at any religious text, you will see in the beginning was the sound. In the beginning was the word. In the beginning was the breath. And the breath was God. To preserve self is to preserve the breath. To preserve the breath in any body, in any being. If the breath leaves any plant, if the breath leaves the universe, if the breath leaves any human being, if the breath leaves any animal, that animal is considered dead. The breath is the life of the body. In the beginning was the Word was with God, and the Word was God. In the beginning was the breath was with God, and the breath was God. To preserve the breath, to preserve the soul, to preserve the life of the body is your first purpose, as long as you can. And if any cell fails at preserving that breath, you will fail at health. And this is why you experience disease. When you put anything into the body that is not abundant in that breath, in that oxygen, you will experience disease. And the only thing that is abundant in breath is raw, natural foods that was made by life itself. to preserve the breath is your first purpose. We're going to go through Genesis on y'all real quick. So any raw food, any raw natural organic food will have oxygen, hydrogen, carbon, and nitrogen, and it will have that breath. And it can be missing one of those components. But if it's missing oxygen, we consider that animal, that thing, dead. No one goes to the store and purchases dead vegetables and dead fruits and dead nuts and dead grains, but we cannot seem as a people to understand why we should not consume dead meat. Just think about that. Even within the store itself, we see a section called produce, because these things produce energy, these things produce life, and then we see a section that's called poultry, or dead foods. They separate the dead from the living right in your face and let you go in the store and be confused. They are protecting the fruits, the vegetables, the grains, and the nuts from death right in the store. You don't go into the freezer section or the meat section and see meat on top of nuts, fruits, and vegetables unless it's already prepared for you to eat right there. Because they fear that the fruits, nuts, vegetables, and grain will contaminate the meat, or do they fear that the meat will contaminate the fruits, nuts, vegetables, grains? They fear contamination from the meat. So the meat will contaminate life, the produce that you go and buy to feed health to your family. Then what is it doing to you every day? Every time you put it into your body. If you cannot control your snake, you will not ascend. Where is that snake? That devil. The snake in the garden. Where is it at? Nobody knows where the snake is. The snake has never left this plane. This snake you see outside of yourself is within your own being. The snake represents your ascension. They told you it was the devil because the snake represents God and the devil. The snake represents you, and I'm going to show you how. In the beginning was the Word was with God, and God was the Word. In the beginning, the breath was with God. God was this breath. This snake, your mouth, check out the snake. The mouth, this is the head of the snake, the mouth and the nose. It goes down, here's the neck of the snake. It coils into the digestive system, and it opens up at the back. The digestive system, the throat, the stomach, the mouth, the nose. This is the snake that you're looking for. And if you cannot control that snake, if you cannot control what you say, if you cannot control what you eat, if you cannot control this snake, you will not ascend. In every religious book, God said, he told us, the snake said, God said, don't eat this. You see, this snake, everything in nature got a mouth, but it's only supposed to process certain types of energy. And if you can't control this snake, no matter which animal you are, if you cannot control your internal snake, your internal intestines, then you will experience decay, disease, confusion, death, the devil. The snake represents ascension. Do you know that snakes most snakes, if you have a pet snake, they eat only once a month. They represent fasting. Control your mouth. Control your hunger. Snakes can eat once a month. Snake also represent urine therapy. Do you know snakes do not urinate? Snakes reabsorb the urine back into their own bodies. This is why when you see the snake eating itself, this is what it means. To nourish yourself from your own golden liquid, from your own life force. The snake represents your ascension or descension. Your internal snake. That snake always gets you in trouble. Not knowing what to say. Not knowing what to eat. These two things control your reality. What you say and what you eat. Your environment. You must control this snake. Your Kundalini snake. This is what it means to rise up from the lower chakras. Right now, if you exist in the lower self and you can't control what you eat, your snake lies coiled in the lower chakras. And you can't come out of this lower self. The Kundalini snake will only rise once you can control your hunger. Once a day, cook foods. The rest of the day, living life. Living nourishment. There's no part of the human organism that does not represent life. The emotional body is a living energy. The physical body is a living energy. The spiritual body is a living energy. The physical body, who told you that wasn't important? To say that you have a physical body is to say that this is my energy, my energetic force field. You can't move through this energy body. That's all physical means, is that I am a force of energy you can't move through. Where air is a force of energy that you can walk through. I can walk through wind. I can walk through wind. If it ain't blowing too hard, I can walk through the air. You cannot walk through me because of my physical expression. Because the sun, the earth, the water, and the air have came together to give me a physical expression, a force of energy that you just can't walk through. You can jump in the water by itself. You can put your hand over fire real quick by itself. You can even kick some dirt up real quick. But you cannot run through me because I am all the elements as one. That's what it means to have a physical body. It means that all the bodies have came together as one body. Let's go through the chakras. When you say the earth chakra, your survival chakra, the red chakra, the root chakra, this is the physical body. The physical body relates to earth, your force, your grounding, your security, your safety, your finances. Earth chakra, don't worry. Life has you. Feel secure. Then you have your sacral chakra. This is your emotional body, water. Emotions, how you feel, sexuality. Love who you are. Love self, other, and all life around. Be intimate with yourself. Be intimate with life. Intimate is a inside job, just in the word. Intimacy. It's an inside job first, and then you can reflect it out. Then you have your solar plexus. This represents fire, the sun energy. And also, we'll go back over the cycle real quick. Water also represents the moon. So I'm going to give you the planet. It also represents the moon. Then we have the solar plexus. Right here in your center, right above the belly button. This represents power, desire, courage, your presentation, your metabolism. Don't fear. Present yourself. Be sure in yourself. Present life. Present vitality. Present the sun when you speak. Shine your light. The heart chakra. This is when we come out the lower self. You see the three below? This is why the three chakras below, these are all below the self. This is why people experience having a heavy gut or thick thighs, is because we're stuck in the lower self. We're stuck in our emotions. We're scared for survival. We're eating for survival. We're eating for emotions. We're eating for false power. All this is the lower chakras. Once you get to the heart, you start to see green. You start to see life. You start to feel the breath. You start to speak out more. You start to love. Green represents love, compassion. The heart chakra, air, the breath of life. Then we have the throat chakra. Speaking, communication, how you communicate your light, how you express to the world. How you express the truth. Third eye. Insight. Everybody wants to talk about the third eye. Just because it's open don't mean you've mastered seeing. People always talk about my third eye is open, but what do you see? If your third eye is open and you feel with disease, chaos, if you feel with calamity and trauma, this is all you're going to see, so all your visions are still clouded. Just because it's open, this just allows you to see inside. It doesn't change what's inside. See, people think when you become enlightened, it means that you're able to see more within your own being. It doesn't mean that you actually are acting out more. This is why the conscious community is being attacked. So they understand just because you're becoming conscious, it allows you to see more into your inner world. And now you must make those changes. So just because it's open, don't mean you're ready to teach and guide people. You need to learn first. You must heal yourself first. Then we have the crown chakra. This is releasing everything below it, just and how it is. Releasing what we think we may know. Releasing what we think we want to speak out. Releasing what you think you love. Releasing what you think is power. Releasing what you think is emotions. Everything that you've gathered from the root chakra on up and the crown chakra below, releasing attachments is becoming awe. Because if you can't get naked and carry it to the jungles and walk around with it everywhere you go, it's an attachment. That's what nature will teach you. Everybody comes with attachments. Where's my things? I can't find this anymore. Like, where's my phone? Where's my laptop? Like, attachments. Can you let them go? Are you willing to fight about these things? Are you willing to curse life, curse your family about these things? Shoes, cars, clothes, money, things that you have created and can't create again. Can we release these things? It's time to ascend out the lower self. Ascension does not mean leaving earth. It means leaving the earth realm of yourself, your lower chakra. This is what ascension means. You have a root chakra, which is earth. You have sacral chakra, this is water and the moon. You have the solar plexus chakra, this is the sun. You have the air chakra. Right here, this represents eternity, the whole universe. The breath is eternal, without beginning and without end. The sound also represents air communication. You cannot communicate without the breath. From the air up, it all represents breath. To be able to see, to be able to speak, to be able to be all things, and to be able to know that you are the breath of life and that no matter where you go, there you are. There's no reality where breath does not exist. The inhale and exhale of creation. You have a limit as a limitless being. Your limit is you can't die. Your prison is eternity. It's a great thing. Your prison is infinity. It's a great thing. You can't die. But it's also a prison because if you can't figure it out, every time you come back, you experience a disease. Every time you come back, you experience confusion. Every time you come back, you're lost. Because you can't figure out that you're eternal, that you're immortal, and that you should support life, and that you're here to grow eternally, that you're here to transform the breath of life eternally. Every time you eat food, you transform the breath. Every time you inhale, you transform the breath. Every time you drink, you transform breath. Isn't oxygen in water? Isn't oxygen in fruit, nuts, and grain? Isn't oxygen in every animal, and every plant, and every insect? Isn't oxygen in the sun? Isn't the sun a ball of gases? You live to exchange the breath through sunlight, through water, through earth. You are always exchanging breath. And when the breath of that body, when the breath in the body is lacking, you will experience disease. Even if you choke somebody, the quickest way to kill them, you choke them. They'll die. Because you can no longer receive the breath. The breath is what allows your internal flame. When you inhale oxygen, it goes and it's burned by the lungs. And that burning creates natural ether, creates that solar energy and allows you to express as one being. You are the sun, moon, earth, and air that has come together. Which means that you are... So if we look at the earth, we have earth, soil, then we have the physical body, right? So physical body, earth, soil. Emotional body, water, moon, rain. See? Mental body. This is your air, breath. It's in everywhere you go. Wind. Your soul, your solar expressing your light. This is sun energy. Fire. The emotional body, the physical body, the spiritual body, and the mental body. All these bodies have came together, and this is what gives you divinity, is that you're not only the air, you're not only the sun, you're not only the stars, you're not only the universe. Not only do you go through every animal in the womb, every species on this planet, you transform through all of that in the womb. You have identified a reptile, a bird, an insect. You've been identified, and your DNA, your genetic code goes through the transformation of every single animal before taking human form inside the womb. So you're all of creation expressed as one being, and that's what gives you divinity. Not divinity over nature, divinity as nature. Meaning that all of nature has decided to come together as one being. One optimal being. With a mind that can now choose growth or decay instead of automatically choosing growth. With a mind that can choose life or death instead of automatically choosing life. With a mind that can choose peace or war instead of automatically choose peace. You see, nature by itself automatically is going to choose growth, nourishment, life without beginning and without end, eternal transformation of all organisms and all things. You are here to transform for eternity, and you cannot escape it. You must transform human DNA. You must transform human consciousness. You must rebirth human consciousness. You can see that in how we're coming and how we're going. You must transform human consciousness, and you cannot get out of it. No matter what you can't stop babies from being born. They're going to be born, and they're going to come in, and they're going to try to be a healthy expression of life. So we must nourish that transformation without beginning and without end. That is your limit, is that you can't stop it. Your limit is that you're eternal. Is that you're going to keep coming back to transform DNA, to transform breath, to transform the air, to transform the earth, to transform the water, to transform light, and express and communicate consciousness to the world. To expand consciousness means to grow consciousness. And everything you see in its natural state is energy, frequency, and vibration. Everything that you see is self-organized, self-intelligent consciousness. Or when you throw a seed to the ground, do you go get a ruler and a pen and paper and a computer and tell the seed what to do? No, you don't. What about all your organs right now? Are you telling them what to do right now? Your lungs, the eyes that keep the water in the eyes, the spinal fluid in your spinal fluid, your blood. Do you even know where all your organs at? Do you know where all your bones at? Do you know what holds them in place? Do you know how many cells are in your own body? You got over 1 trillion cells. You don't even want the task of telling them what to do. What would you do all day? If you had to tell your mouth to get water, you had to tell the body to digest, you had to tell the kidneys to work, you had to tell the lungs to burn the air so it can get to the brain. If you had to tell the blood to send all the nutrients and tell the calcium to go to the bones, tell the copper to go to the brain, tell iron to stay in the blood, what would you do all day? Be happy that you're in a self-organized, self-intelligent system. Be happy of your divinity and love yourself completely, because life stands for you, or you would fall apart right now. Who holding the skin on the flesh? Who holding the flesh on the bones? Who holding the bones in place? Who holding the heart right here on the left side of your chest in the middle? Who holding the stomach in place? Who keeping the stomach acid from burning and spilling out of the stomach? Be happy of who you are. Love yourself completely and stand for life. Stand for growth. Stand for health. Stand for nourishment, because life stands for you. Nourishment stands for you, or you will fall apart right now. The moment every cell, the moment every atom, the moment every tissue fails at health, you will be dismantled. You will experience disease. Do you know what cancer is? Cancer is when cells within your own body fail to communicate with other cells. So when you got cancer and you try to tell Amun something, your body, that's what cancer is. So you're in a state where you only need to listen to people. When you got cancer, listen to people. It's time for you to stop talking. The reason why is because cancer is a disease in which the cells are failing to communicate with each other. Meaning that the cells within your own being are failing to acknowledge each other, are failing to love each other, are failing to communicate what needs to be communicated to the body to hold you together. You're falling apart because you can't communicate. So stop speaking. Time to go into meditation and start to listen. It's time to start listening. Diabetes. Anywhere you lack breath, anywhere you lack oxygen. Sugar is not the cause of diabetes. It's the lack of oxygen in the arteries from the dead foods you've eaten. When you clog the arteries, now the oxygen, the sugar, the glucose can't get to where it needs to get to. Glucose will only be stored or used. Glucose cannot cause you to get fat. That is a lie. Do you know that your body will break down muscle to get glucose? If you don't get enough sugar, if you don't get enough sweet shit, your body will break down muscle, bone. Your body will dismantle you to get it. Showing you that glucose is the blueprint to everything else that you need. Glucose is carbon, oxygen, and hydrogen. Protein is carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen. So it's just one more to get protein. And your body will break down DNA. Your body will break down muscle. Your body will break down tissue. Your body will break down bone to get what you're supposed to get from your diet anyway. Your body will break these things down to get what you're supposed to get from fruits. And that is a fact. That's what happens. And that's what's happening to us right now. We're not nourishing our higher self. Because all of it is you. Everything you see is you, or you could not experience it. You can only experience yourself in all forms, in all ways. In order for you to recognize something, you must recognize it within yourself. This is why when people say, Amun, you got a great energy, or Amun, you're beautiful. You don't see things as I am. You see things as you are. or you could not recognize it. You recognize the higher vibration in yourself. Anybody that vibes with this message, they recognize the message, the living light within their own being of where they're going. To recognize it, it must be an inside job. To acknowledge it is an inside job. Insight, intuition, instruction, intelligence. These are inner things of your own energies, your own inner reality. Even when you look outside yourself, you're seeing yourself just in a way that you don't understand yet. The disease you see within yourself, the diseases that are within yourself are outside yourself in family members and friends and jobs and places. And whatever the health of this body, this is what you're going to see on the outside world. This is the daydream. You can see it in just how it happens. You open your eyes. Welcome to the daydream. You close your eyes, back to the inner world. You see? Your inner world is where you can create all of life, where you can find out the true insight about yourself, where you can find out about your true energies and your true natural instincts. I don't study biology. I am biology. I don't study science. I am science. I don't study nature. I am nature. You see, we must learn to exist as the knowledge. Stop looking for it. Be the knowledge that you're looking for. You're looking for numerology, you are numerology. You're looking for astrology, you are astrology. You're looking for geology, you're looking for ecology, that is you. You're looking for anatomy, that's you. You're looking for spirituality, that's you. You're looking for mentality, that's you. You're looking for quantum physics, that's you. I am the knowledge now. I'm fully submitted, family, and everybody here knows it. I don't play with this, and it's more important. It's the most important thing that we restore our human divinity, that we restore unity. How can we experience unity when we're being divided from the inside of our own bodies as a people? Your cells, the bones don't even want to stay together. The eyes don't even want to work. The blood doesn't even want to send oxygen. We have to wake up from this illness. Wake up. This is what it means to awaken from your lower nature. There are only two natures: growth and decay, health and disease, light and dark, negative and positive. You must grow from the lower natures of yourself, from your lower world, and come into the higher realm of health, of nourishment, of growth. You can see just how it even how it's designed. You can see at the bottom you have the colon, then you have the digestive system, then you have the lungs and the heart, then you have the throat, and then you have the eyes, insight. You have to get above the stomach, even in how you're designed. Colon, digestive system, lungs and heart, speaking out, seeing, divinity, your mind, mentality, to be in to raise your consciousness, to raise your vibration up. Is to raise from the lower frequencies of your own being. And then you start to find yourself. You start to find nature. You start to find life. You start to find what you call your family of light. Everybody is your family of light, but we start to come together, those who are in harmony with life and growth, and we start to put a frequency, a healing, just by us being here. And that's why I tell people we don't support the village just because the people living in harmony with nature. We're restoring the planet just by being here. Just by loving the plants and the animals and the insects here. We're causing a new connection with the human race into the planet, because right now we have been divorced from nature. And if you don't believe it, anybody in Babylon, go to the jungle and get naked right now. You're scared for the most part. You're scared of the animals. You're scared of your own body. You're scared to be naked. Could you imagine that if a cow walked by and they tried to cover up his body, like, oh shit, you see me? Could you imagine if a bird was flying, it was like, oh, my breast and my, oh, you can see my pride. We would think the bird was crazy. We got a long way to go, family. Every natural plant, every natural insect, every natural being outside is comfortable in its natural clothes. You can't even go outside and be comfortable in your natural clothes with other people seeing you. That should already know. That should already let you know how insane that we are. You're not even comfortable in your natural skin. How you came out the womb, you're not even comfortable with your true self. The way you came out, you're not even comfortable with that anymore. You don't even know what that is. We got to wake up. So to be reborn right now, to be reborn right now, to be reborn right now, let me rebirth you. How to be reborn? The best way? Fasting. Go back to eating like a baby. How do babies eat? So you thought you took a step up when you started eating solid foods, but you took a step back. You see, babies only consume liquids, and we sit here wondering, can we survive off of liquids? All babies are on a liquidarian fast. They only consume liquids. Completely nourished, completely happy, completely excited. And they're in their highest state of growth when they're consuming only liquids and light foods. Babies are in the highest state of growth, the highest state of vitality, the highest state of nourishment, only consuming liquids.
Add something there.
Yeah, my brother Shin want to add something to it. He been seeing me go live. We're going to let Shin add something to it. Add what you want to add, Shin.
Oh, that's beautiful. And the evolution of the fact that babies only eat liquids. If they were never weaned into solid foods, and they were just trained in an environment, an energetic environment, and a natural environment that was conducive for us to really sustain without dense mass, they would never have to eat it. Their
Facts.
organs would never have to evolve to do that, and they'll just be a whole different level of being.
Facts.
You don't even see here. They could just be weaned onto blended foods if they have to go dense. Blended fruits, and love it.
And they're completely satisfied with it too. We appreciate it. We love that. We love that. Shin, y'all add Shin G on the Facebook. And the important part is that they're completely satisfied. They're completely happy with just liquids. You train your children. The baby was happy with what you gave it in the first place. It doesn't know any. Hey, whatever you give me, whatever you're gonna use to grow my being. You gotta understand that everything that exists, right? You can only everything is a body of consciousness. So each tree, each plant, each insect, everything is a body of self-intelligent, self-organized energy, self-organized consciousness. So we want to feed our children consciously, and we want to feed them consciousness, because this consciousness is the building materials to their new human expression of life, to that new human expression of consciousness. So you're going to take the consciousness from a tree, the consciousness from water, the consciousness from a tropical environment. You're going to feed this to your child, and this is the building materials to who they become. When you have a child and you're born into the tropical, when you're born into a tropical environment, in your natural environment, and you're feeding your child the right thing, each fruit, each time they suck from your breast milk, they're getting pure consciousness. They're getting the building materials of human consciousness. Every time they see birds, every time they see the rivers, every time they see tree, every time they bathe in the sun, they are getting premium downloads. They're getting premium building material through sight and through sound. 90% of who you are is activated through bioacoustic and bioelectric signaling, meaning you must live in a natural environment for you to be fully activated, because 90% of the DNA is affected, epigenetics, 90% of the DNA is affected by what you see, bioelectric signaling, meaning that it must be living, bio, and bioacoustic sound. All the sounds that you would naturally hear in nature, the bees, the waters, the wind, the insects that constantly play their organs like you're supposed to be doing. Instruments and forks. These were the two of the worst things created by human beings, and we don't even know it. Because the instrument, guitars, pianos, flutes, these made us stop playing our internal organs as much. We start playing organs outside of our own organs. Instead of playing our vowels, our tones to the universe, we start making artificial things to play these tones. Everything in nature plays their tones from within their own being. Just look at life. Look at the wolves, look at the wolves, look at the cows, look at the insects. Everything is playing their own instrument, their own harmony from within their own being. And then we created the fork, which also disconnected you from consciousness, because then you stop touching trees, you stop touching plants. If you didn't have to, if the human race had to go up to every animal and break its neck with their hands and reach into all the organs, we wouldn't do what we was doing. You see, so these tools have disconnected us from our natural state, from our natural consciousness, because the only tool you ever needed was you. You are the multi-tool. You're the multi-tool you're looking for. The multi-dimensional tool you're looking for is you. The multi-purpose tool, technology you're looking for, this is you. It's time to love yourselves completely, family. Nourish yourselves completely. And that's what life is about. Life is very, very, very simple. People want to know how to serve God. Just look at everything that God made. No matter what you believe, if, for the most part, every religion believes that God created everything, even if they don't want to believe that God is nature. Fine. God created the sun. Who does the sun serve? God created the moon. Who the moon serve? God created the stars, the earth, the rain, the water, the wind. He created each animal, each plant, each atom, each insect. Who they serve? Without fail, every day we get up and we see these ants serve nature. We see the bumblebees serve nature. We see the butterflies serve nature. We see the fish serve nature. We see the river serve nature. We see the stars, the moon. We see everything in life serve nature except the human race. Because the human race think he's divine. Oh, you better than nature. You weren't sitting here to serve nature like everything else. You were just here to exist in nature and then go to heaven. See, we don't want to take our responsibility. We want to make excuses for everything except being who you're supposed to be. We make excuses for everything except being human. Meanwhile, if life was not holding you together right now, you'll fall apart. If the earth, the minerals in your body, if the breath, if water in your blood, if the solar energy you receive from the sun was not holding your expression together right now, holding the physical body, holding the emotional body, holding the spiritual body, holding the mental body together right now, you'll fall apart. So life is willing to stand for you and rebirth you every second. What are you willing to do for life? What are you willing to do for the earth? What are you willing to do for the sun? What are you willing to do for moon? What are you willing to do for a healthy planet? Because if anything in creation fails at health, it fails at life. If the earth decides to say, hey, I'm done, so are we. If the sun decides to say, I'm done, so are we. If the breath, if the water, we need healthy water. When all the water is toxic, what we gonna do then? We sick. We know it's getting out because human blood is sick. The rivers are sick because human blood is sick. Your blood represents water. So the waters are sick. How did they get like that? Well, just look at human blood and we can see how the waters got sick. The earth, the planet, malnourished. How do we know the planet is malnourished? Look at the human race. The human race is malnourished. And what we say, oh, earth did it. The earth ain't producing the right crops. GMOs. Who put them there? Trash on the ground. Who put it there? The soil don't contain all the minerals that we need. Who isn't giving soil back to the earth? Because I see the cows, they give back their soil. The bumblebees, the insects, everything in nature give back their soil. Humans give their soil to a toilet. So we can see why the human race is malnourished. The human race is lost as a soul, having no connection to the sun. In Spanish, they call the sun El Sol. Losing your solar expression, using your solar identity. How do we know the human race has lost their solar identity? Look what they're doing right now. Does the human collect energy from the sun to power nature or power Babylon as a whole? Do we power life or do we power decay as a whole? Health or disease? Do we power health or do we power disease as a whole? You're collecting sunlight, air, water, and earth to power disease, to power death, to power decay, and don't even know it. This is what it means to sell your soul. Because won't no system work. A system of life or a system of destruction, as far as human consciousness go, will not work without the human. You see? So they pay you for the energy you collect. Because if you don't have any energy to get up and go to work, you ain't going nowhere. So you got to eat. You see? You got to drink. You need something from the earth. You see, we're real ignorant when it comes down to creating shit. We walk around saying, I created this, like you just took it from thin air. You got it from nature. Stop lying. You ain't created nothing. You can only create from what's already provided, even on the inside of your own damn body. You can't even create thoughts without nature providing the atoms and the breath within your own being. You can't create emotions without the emotional body that was already given. You can't create another workout, another sun salutation. You can't create nothing in your life without the building materials, without the energy frequencies and vibrations already provided by life itself. You never created anything. Stop lying. What you did is you took what was already self-organized, already self-intelligently provided, and you created from what was already grown from nature. You see, eternity means that nothing was ever created. Everything always was. No beginning, no ending. Meaning that the building materials of creation were already here. Nature is self-grown, self-organized, self-intelligent. Meaning that nature never truly created anything. It grew it from its own being, just like you grow cells from your own being right now. Just like you collect air and grow cells and grow, you've been growing since birth. From within your own being, collecting from yourself outside of nature. Collecting air, collecting water, collecting sunlight, collecting things from the earth. You've used this to grow your own being. Even when you go into video games, you see Mario get the mushroom, you see him get the flowers, and he grows. He gets superpower, even in video games. You see, you must exchange consciousness to grow. This is how you expand consciousness. You must breathe and give it back. You must drink and give it back. You must nourish yourself and give it back. This is how you transform yourself without beginning and without end, because as you transform human consciousness, if you do it correctly, you must automatically change all of life. Because in order to transform yourself, you must be a healthy expression of life. And in order for you to be healthy, you have to understand self, other, and all natural life around. If you remove everything that life, eternity did not make itself, you only have self, other, and all natural around. You only have self, other, and nature. So if you cannot understand your natural relationship with nature, if you cannot understand your biological nature, your biological relationship with self, other, with the trees, with the sun, with the earth, with the moon, with the plants, if you cannot understand your relationship, you are lost. And that goes without being said. Even when you go within your own being, you have to face nature, even if it's darkness, even if it's light. Whether it's health or disease, you must experience nature. Whether it's peace or war, you must experience nature. Whether it's negative or positive. Even when you dream of higher and lower versions of nature. Even when you have visions, you dream of higher and lower versions of nature, energy, frequencies, and vibrations. Light, darkness, sun, the earth, the moon. You experience nature no matter where you go. There's nowhere you can go and hide from yourself. It's time to face yourself. It's time to face love. It's time to face health and look it right in the face. It's time to face your transformation. Face your true self. There is truly no higher self. There's only who you are and lower than that. There's only the true self, your limitless potential. There's only eternity and illusions from that eternal spiral. You only have the true self and the lost self. The we self and the illusional me self. Ego versus ego. Me versus we. The true I is we. That is the true self. Knowing that you are all things exchanging the breath. Right now, everybody watching, everybody in this village, who's providing the oxygen? And is that oxygen atom, is it different from any of the other oxygen atoms being breathed by anybody? It's not. It's one breath flowing through all the plants, through all the animals, being exchanged by us all, the sacred breath of life, exchanging through all animals, all plants, all insects, from the sun to the water to the moon to the earth to you to your families. Everybody exchanging that same breath, and that same breath is going in and activating everybody's blood, activating the lungs, activating the mental body, the emotional body, the spiritual body, the physical body, and we act like we're separated. But you must, you see, you only share when you have to, like breath. You can't stop. That's the only reason we're not. If we could be stingy with breath, we would be like, I don't give a fuck if you can't breathe. I'm gonna take it in my house. Like, you want to share my air. If we could take it, we would. But we gotta share the breath. If we didn't have to share the planet, we wouldn't. How do we know that? Because we ain't sharing land right now. If we could take a planet with us, we'll take it. Like, nah, this is my planet. I want my own. You can't live on my planet. Like, yo, you go find your own. But we can't do that. We got to share the planet. So what we do, we divide the land. Like, fuck it. I can't take the planet. So I'm going to take this little section right here, and this is my land. You work on your own shit. With 1 billion humans, it's impossible for everybody to have their own land, but we too blind to see that. It's impossible for every human to have a job and to buy their own land. It's impossible for every human to have a building and a corporation. in a business. It's impossible. It's impossible without trying to destroy yourself. And we're destroying ourselves trying to do it right now. But nature ain't going to allow it. Who breaking that concrete apart? Who doing that? Who sending these storms, tearing these, ripping these states apart? You see, nature ain't going to allow it. It's time that we get completely in harmony with life. As a body of consciousness, you are the health or disease of human consciousness. As a body of consciousness, you are the life or death of human consciousness. As a body of consciousness, you are the peace or war, the negative or positive. You are the health or disease. This is you, human consciousness. If the planet's sick, it's because we did it. Who else did it? So we must work on restoring it. And so I've been putting together some things for people. I'm offering myself a lot more. As far as personal training, I'm going to be doing workout plans, meal plans, detoxes, consultations. Get at me. I'm trying my best not to have to ever charge anyone. And so those who are able to support for anything I do, any donations, any love, I appreciate it. It's not about me. A lot of people think, and I get this, and I want people to understand. It's not about, oh, we're supposed to all work in Babylon, or we've all been through it. In order for some of us to heal the planet, we all can't serve the system. Those who have awakened first, those who fully understand right now, and have already left that system and already in place to start restoring nature, that are already in place in villages that can put where we already got hundreds of fruit trees, where we already got cabanas, where we already got bitter teas and herbs on the land, to where we can heal human consciousness, and that people can come here and reflect the love they receive outward and start to go create more of these on the planet. This is what this is about. This is my service to the world. What I'm communicating right now. The guidance, the love, the knowledge. People go to school and pay millions of dollars right now. People are paying for their own demise. Right now. They're paying for their own ignorance, for their own confusion, for their own destruction right now. And if it's their destruction, they're paying for your destruction. Because don't you need air to transform? Don't you need water to transform? Don't you need a healthy planet to transform? What about your kids? Do your kids need a healthy planet to transform? Do your kids need clean air to transform? Do your kids need clean water to transform? Do your kids need to know who they are to transform? To be a healthy expression of life. To have a healthy physical body. To have a healthy emotional body. To have a healthy mental body. To have a healthy spiritual body, so that we can broadcast this consciousness, so we can expand life to self, other, and all life around, without beginning and without end. Love without beginning and without end. Growth without beginning and without end. Nourishment, vitality, peace, harmony. You will experience these things without beginning and without end, and that's what it means to be eternal. Is that you are in a spiral of growth or decay, and it's eternal. To be cursed means to be caught into the eternal spiral of decay, malnourishment, disease, confusion, not knowing self. This is the true hell. An eternal trap of not knowing self. Could you imagine for an eternity? Could you imagine somebody that's been existing in eternity, always coming back, experience disease, always coming back, experience confusion, always coming back, experiencing hate, always coming back, not knowing self? Every time. This is what it means to curse your families, is to be consistently lost for eternity. Your soul is lost, constantly collecting air, water, sunlight, constantly collecting energy, frequency, and vibration, and never knowing self, never knowing growth, never knowing health, never knowing love. Hell, eternally. Or eternal heaven. Always coming back, being an enlightened being. Always coming back, showing love. Always coming back, showing growth. Always coming back, showing vitality. Always coming back to transform self, other, and all life around, that is in a peaceful, harmonic manner, so we can all live as a unit, which is what you truly are. Separation is the only illusion. Death is the illusion of separation. That's your limit, that you can't die. It's an illusion. So, I bring love. I hope y'all enjoyed this message this morning. I didn't know when I was going to give this message, but I really wanted to give it to y'all. So we're just going to recap real quick. Self-preservation is the first law of nature. Do not be trying to save others before you save yourself, because they are you. That's the illusion, trying to save somebody else before you save you. Once you save you, you're going to automatically save others. You don't even have to try it. Like right now, once you save self, automatically you're going to broadcast light to others. Automatically you're going to broadcast love to others. You don't have to try. Work on you. Don't get distracted. Work on your emotional body. Work on your spiritual body. Work on your mental body. Work on your physical body. Love yourself completely means to work on all parts of yourself. Work out, because you are one body. When you're working out the physical, the emotional, the mental, and the physical body. Or when you work out, do you go sit your mind on the table, you take emotions and you sit them right here, you take the spirit, and I'm going to leave that in the car, and then I'm going to work out. Like, no. When you work out, you're working out all bodies. It's not just about, this is just, you see, we don't want to get attached to the physical body. This is just a form it took. I didn't take a knife and cut my body. All I did was nourish myself, and your body's going to take the most efficient, proficient presentation. This is the presentation the body takes when you work out, you eat correctly, and you love yourself completely. Your skin starts to look better. Your voice you start to speak out more. Your body starts to be more muscular. You start to be stronger. It's ready to protect the body. It's ready to protect the bones. You have a strong physical presentation. You have emotional peace. You have mental clarity. And you have the light to shine your soul to the world. This is why we work out. This is why you meditate. This is why you yoga. It's not because these things have to be done. It's just that you're exercising. You're expanding consciousness.